Vayera, and he appeared.
Genesis chapter 18. Again the Lord appeared unto him in the plain of Mamre, as he sat in his tent door about the heat of the day. And he lifted up his eyes and looked, and lo, 3 men stood by him. When he saw them, he ran to meet them from the tent door, and bowed himself to the ground. And he said, Lord, if I have now found favor in thy sight, go not, I pray thee, from thy servant. Let a little water, I pray you, be brought, and wash your feet, and rest yourselves under the tree. And I will bring a morsel of bread, that you may comfort your hearts. Afterward ye shall go your ways, for therefore are ye come to your servant. And they said, Do even as thou hast said. Then Abraham made haste into the tent unto Sarah, and said, Make ready at once 3 measures of fine meal, knead it, and make cakes upon the hearth. And Abram ran to the beasts, and took a tender and good calf, and gave it to the servant, who hasted to make it ready. And he took butter and milk, and the calf which he had prepared, and set before them, and stood himself by them under the tree, and they did eat. Then they said unto him, Where is Sarah thy wife? And he answered, Behold, she is in the tent. And he said, I will certainly come again unto thee according to the time of life. And lo, Sarah thy wife shall have a son. And Sarah heard in the tent door, which was behind him. Now Abraham and Sarah were old and stricken in age, and ceased to be with Sarah after the manner of women. Therefore Sarah laughed within herself, saying, After I am waxed old, and my Lord also, shall I have lust? And the Lord said unto Abraham, Wherefore did Sarah thus laugh, saying, Shall I certainly bear a child, which am old? Shall anything be hard to the Lord? As the time appointed will I return unto thee, even according to the time of life, and Sarah shall have a son. But Sarah denied, saying, I laughed not, for she was afraid. And he said, It is not so, for thou laughest. Afterward the men did rise up from thence, and looked toward Sodom, and Adam went with them to bring them on the way. And the Lord said, Shall I hide from Abraham the thing which I do? Seeing that Abraham shall be indeed a great and mighty nation, and all the nations of the earth shall be blessed in him. For I know him, that he will command his sons and his household after him, that they keep the way of the Lord, and do righteousness and judgment, that the Lord may bring upon Abraham that he hath spoken unto him. Then the Lord said, Because the cry of Sodom and Gomorrah is great, and because their sin is exceedingly grievous, I will go down now, and see whether they have done altogether according to that cry, which is come unto me, and if not, that I may know. And the men turned thence and went toward Sodom, but Abraham stood yet before the Lord. Then Abraham drew near and said, Wilt thou also destroy the righteous with the wicked? If there be 50 righteous within this city, wilt thou destroy and not spare the place for 50 righteous that are therein? Be it far from thee from doing this thing, to slay the righteous with the wicked, and that the righteous should be even as the wicked. Be it far from thee. Shall not the judge of all the world do right? And the Lord answered, If I shall find in Sodom 50 righteous within this city, then will I spare all the place for their sakes. Then Abraham answered and said, Behold now, I have begun to speak unto my Lord, and I am but dust and ashes. If there shall lack 5 of 50 righteous, wilt thou destroy all the city for 5? And he said, If I find there 45, I will not destroy it And he yet spake unto him again, and said, What if there shall be 40 there? Then he answered, I will not do it for 40's sake. Again he said, Let not my Lord be angry that I speak. What if 30 be found there? Then he said, I will not do it, if I find 30 there. Moreover he said, Behold now, I have begun to speak unto my Lord. What if 20 be found there? And he answered, I will not destroy it for 20's sake. Then he said, Let not my Lord now be angry, and I will speak but this once. What if 10 be found there? And he answered, I will not destroy it for 10's sake. And the Lord went his way, when he had left communing with Abraham, and Abraham returned unto his place. Genesis chapter 19. And in the evening there came 2 angels to Sodom, and Lot sat at the gate of Sodom. And Lot saw them, and rose up to meet them. And he bowed himself with his face to the ground. And he said, See, my lords, I pray you, turn in now unto your servant's house, and tarry all night, and wash your feet, and ye shall rise up early, and go your ways. He said, Nay, but we will abide in the street all night. Then he pressed upon them earnestly, and they turned in to him, and came to his house, and he made them a feast, and did bake unleavened bread, and they did eat. But before they went to bed, the men of the city, even the men of Sodom, compassed the house round about, from the young even to the old, all the people from all quarters, who crying unto Lot said unto him, Where are the men which came to thee this night? Bring them out unto us, that we may know them. Then Lot went out at the door unto them, and shut the door after him. And he said, I pray you, my brethren, do not so wickedly. Behold now, I have 2 daughters, which have not known man. Them will I bring out now unto you, and do to them as seem good to you. Only unto these men do nothing, for therefore are they come under the shadow of my roof. Then they said, Away hence. And they said, He is come alone as a stranger, and shall he be judge and rule? We will now deal worse with thee than with them. So they pressed sore upon Lot himself, and came to break the door. But the men put forth their hand, and pulled Lot into the house to them, and shut the door. Then they smote the men that were at the door of the house with blindness, both small and great, so that they were wearied in seeking the door. And the men said unto Lot, Whom hast thou yet here? Either son-in-law, or thy sons, or thy daughters, or whatsoever thou hast in the city, bring it out of this place. For we will destroy this place, because the cry of them is great before the Lord, and the Lord hath sent us to destroy it. Then Lot went out and spake unto his sons-in-law, which married his daughters, and said, Arise, get you out of this place, for the Lord will destroy the city. But he seemed to his sons-in-law as though he was mocked. And when the morning arose, the angels hasted Lot, saying, Arise, take thy wife and thy 2 daughters which are here, lest thou be destroyed in the punishment of this city. And as he prolonged the time, the men caught him, both him and his wife, and his 2 daughters, by the hand, the Lord being merciful unto him. And they brought him forth, and set him without the city. And when they had brought them out, the angel said, Escape for thy life. Look not behind thee, neither tarry thou in all the plain. Escape unto the mountains, lest thou be destroyed. And Lot said unto them, Not so, I pray thee, my Lord. Behold, now thy servant hath found grace in thy sight, and thou hast magnified thy mercy, which thou hast showed me in saving my life. And I cannot escape in the mountain, lest some evil take me, and I die. See now this city hereby to flee unto, which is a little one. O let me escape thither. Is it not a little one? And my soul shall live. Then he said unto him, Behold, I have received thy request, also concerning this thing, that I will not overthrow this city, for the which thou hast spoken. Haste thee, save thee there, for I can do nothing till thou come thither. Therefore the name of the city was called Zoar. And the sun did rise upon the earth when Lot entered into Zoar. Then the Lord rained upon Sodom and upon Gomorrah brimstone and fire from the Lord out of heaven, and overthrew those cities and all the plain, and all the inhabitants of the cities that grew upon the earth. Now his wife behind him looked back, and she became a pillar of salt. And Abraham, rising up early in the morning, went to the place where he had stood before the Lord, and looked toward Sodom and Gomorrah, and toward all the land of the plain. Behold, he saw the smoke of the land mounting up as the smoke of a furnace. But yet when God destroyed the cities of the plain, God thought upon Abraham, and sent Lot out of the midst of the destruction, when he overthrew the cities wherein Lot dwelled. And Lot went up out of Zoar, and dwelt in the mountain with his 2 daughters, for he feared to tarry in Zoar, but dwelt in a cave, he and his 2 daughters. And the elder said to the younger, Our father is old, and there is not a man in the earth come in unto us, after the manner of all the earth. Come, we will make our father drink wine, and lie with him, that we may preserve seed of our father. So they made their father drink wine that night, and the elder went and lay with her father. But he perceived not, neither when she lay down, and neither when she rose up. And on the morrow the elder said to the younger, Behold, yesternight I lay with my father. Let us make him drink wine again this night also, and go thou and lie with him, that we may preserve seed of our father. So they made their father drink wine that night also, and the younger arose and lay with him, but he perceived it not, when she lay down, neither when she rose up. Thus were both the daughters of Lot with child by their father. And the elder bare a son, and she called his name Moab, and the same is the father of the Moabites unto this day. And the younger bare a son also, and she called his name Ben-Ammi. The same is the father of the Ammonites unto this day. Genesis chapter 20. Afterward Abraham departed thence toward the south country, and dwelt between Kadesh and Shur, and sojourned in Gerar. And Abraham said of Sarah his wife, She is my sister. Then Abimelech king of Gerar sent and took Sarah. But God came to Abimelech in a dream by night, and said to him, Behold, thou art but dead, because of the woman which thou hast taken, for she is a man's wife. Notwithstanding, Abimelech had not yet come in near her, and he said, Lord, wilt thou slay even the righteous nation? Said not he unto me, She is my sister? Yea, and she herself said, He is my brother. With an upright mind and innocent hands have I done this. And God said unto him by a dream, I know that thou didst this even with an upright mind, and I kept thee also, that thou shouldst not sin against me. Therefore suffered I thee not to touch her. Now then, deliver the man with his wife again, for he is a prophet, and he shall pray for thee, that thou mayest live. But if thou deliver her not again, be sure that thou shalt die the death, thou and all that thou hast. Then Abimelech, rising up early in the morning, called all his servants, and told all these things unto them, and the men were sore afraid. Afterward Abimelech called Abraham, and said unto him, What hast thou done unto us? And what have I offended thee, that thou hast brought on me and on my kingdom this great sin? Thou hast done things unto me that ought not to be done. So Abimelech said unto Abraham, What sawest thou that thou hast done this thing? Then Abraham answered, Because I thought thus, Surely the fear of God is not in this place, and they will slay me for my wife's sake. Yet in very deed she is my sister, for she is the daughter of my father. but not the daughter of my mother, and she is my wife. Now then God caused me to wander out of our father's house. I said then to her, This is thy kindness, that thou shalt show me unto all the places where we come. Say thou of me, He is my brother. Then took Abimelech sheep and beeves, and men servants and women servants, and gave them unto Abraham, and restored him Sarah his wife. And Abimelech said, Behold, my land is before thee, dwell where it pleaseth thee. Likewise to Sarah he said, Behold, I have given thy brother 1,000 pieces of silver. Behold, he is the veil of thine eyes to all that are with thee, and to all others. And she was thus reproved. Then Abraham prayed unto God, and God healed Abimelech and his wife and his women servants, and they bare children. For the Lord had shut up every womb of the house of Abimelech because of Sarah, Abraham's wife. Genesis chapter 21. Now the Lord visited Sarah, as he had said, and did unto her according as he had promised. For Sarah conceived and bare Abraham a son in his old age, at the same season that God told him. And Abraham called his son's name that was born unto him, which Sarah bare unto him, Isaac. And Abraham circumcised Isaac his son when he was 8 days old, as God had commanded him. So Abraham was 100 years old when his son Isaac was born unto him. Then Sarah said, God hath made me to rejoice. All that hear will rejoice with me. Again she said, Who would have said to Abraham that Sarah would have given children suck? For I have borne him a son in his old age. Then the child grew and was weaned, and Abraham made a great feast that same day that Isaac was weaned. And Sarah saw the son of Hagar the Egyptian, which she had borne unto Abraham, mocking. Wherefore she said unto Abraham, Cast out this bondwoman and her son, for the son of this bondwoman shall not be heir with my son Isaac. And this thing was very grievous unto Abraham's sight, because of his son. But God said unto Abraham, Let it not be grievous in thy sight, for the child and for the bondwoman. In all that Sarah shall say unto thee, hear her voice. For in Isaac shall all thy seed be called. As for the son of the bondwoman, I will make him a nation also, because he is thy seed. So Abraham rose up early in the morning, and took bread and a bottle of water, and gave it unto Hagar, putting it on her shoulder, and the child also, and sent her away, who departing wandered in the wilderness of Beersheba. And when the water of the bottle was spent, she cast the child under a tree. Then she went and sat her over against him, afar off about a bow shoot. For she said, I will not see the death of the child. And she sat down over against him, and lifted up her voice, and wept. Then God heard the voice of the child, and the angel of God called to Hagar from heaven, and said unto her, What aileth thee, Hagar? Fear not, for God hath heard the voice of the child where he is. Arise, take up the child, and hold him in thine hand, for I will make him a great people. And God opened her eyes, and she saw a well of water. So she went and filled the bottle with water, and gave the boy drink. So God was with the child, and he grew and dwelt in the wilderness, and was an archer. And he dwelt in the wilderness of Paran, and his mother took him a wife out of the land of Egypt. And at the same time Abimelech and Phicol, his captain, came and spake unto Abraham, saying, God is with thee in all that thou doest. Now therefore swear unto me, hereby God, that thou wilt not hurt me, nor my children, nor my children's children. Thou shalt deal with me and with the country wherewith thou hast been a stranger, according unto the kindness that I have shown thee. Then Abraham said, I will swear. And Abraham rebuked Abimelech for a well of water which Abimelech's servants had violently taken away. And Abimelech said, I know not who hath done this thing. Also, thou toldest me not, neither heard I of it, but this day. And Abraham took sheep and beeves, and gave them unto Abimelech, and they two made a covenant. And Abraham sent 7 lambs of the flock by themselves. And Abimelech said unto Abraham, What meanest these 7 lambs, which thou hast by thyself? And he answered, Because thou shalt receive of my hand these 7 lambs, that it may be a witness unto me that I have dug this well. Therefore the place is called Beersheba, because there they both swear. Thus made a covenant at Beersheba after Abimelech and Phicol, the captain, rose up and turned again unto the land of the Philistines. And Abraham planted a grove in Beersheba, and called there on the name of the Lord, the everlasting God. And Abraham was a stranger in the Philistines' land a long season. Genesis chapter 22. And after these things God did prove Abraham, and said unto him, Abraham. He answered, Here I am. And he said, Take now thine son, thine only son, Isaac, whom thou lovest, and get thee unto the land of Moriah, and offer him there for a burnt offering upon one of the mountains which I shall show thee. Then Abraham rose up early in the morning, and saddled his ass, and took 2 of his servants with him, and Isaac his son, and clove wood for the burnt offering, and rose up and went to the place which God had told him. Then the 3rd day Abraham lifted up his eyes, and saw the place afar off, and said unto his servants, Abide you here with the ass, for I and the child will go yonder and worship, and come again unto you. Then Abraham took the wood of the burnt offering, and laid it upon Isaac his son, and he took the fire in his hand, and the knife, and they went both together. Then spake Isaac unto Abraham his father, and said, My father. And he answered, Here am I, my son. And he said, Behold the fire and the wood, but where is the lamb for the burnt offering? Then Abraham answered, My son, God will provide him for a lamb for a burnt offering. So they both went together. When they came to the place which God had shown him, Abraham built an altar there, and couched the wood, and bound Isaac his son, and laid him on the altar upon the wood. And Abraham stretched forth his hand, and the knife, to kill his son. But the angel of the Lord called unto him from heaven, saying, Abraham, Abraham. And he answered, Here am I. Then he said, Lay not thine hand upon the child, neither do anything unto him. For now I know that thou fearest God, seeing for my sake thou hast not spared thine son, thine only son. And Abraham, lifting up his eyes, looked, and behold, there was a ram behind him, caught in the horns by a bush. Then Abraham went and took the ram, and offered him up for a burnt offering in the stead of his son. And Abraham called the name of that place Jehovah-Jireh, as it is said this day, In the mount will the Lord be seen. And the angel of the Lord cried unto Abraham from heaven the 2nd time, and said, By myself have I sworn, thus saith the Lord, because thou hast done this thing, and hast not spared thine only son, therefore will I surely bless thee, and will greatly multiply thy seed, as the stars of heaven, and as the sand which is upon the seashore. And thy seed shall possess the gate of his enemies, and in thy seed shall all the nations of the earth be blessed, because thou hast obeyed my voice. Then turned Abraham again unto his servants, And they rose up, and he went together to Beersheba, and Abraham dwelt in Beersheba. And after these signs, one told Abraham, saying, Behold, Milcah, she hath also borne children unto thy brother Nahor, to wit, Buz his eldest son, and Buz his brother, and Kemuel, the father of Aram, and Chesed, and Hazo, and Pildash, and Jidlaph, and Bethuel. And Bethuel begot Rebekah. These 8 did Milcah bear to Nahor, Abraham's brother. And his concubine called Ruamah, she bare also Teba, and Gaham, and Thehash, and Maachah.